What's up, everybody? I hope you're having a great day. I'm Dave with the Cream. If you're new, we are a real estate channel, but we put a lot of emphasis on personal development and spirituality because ultimately, the better you become as an individual, the more you work on yourself, personal development, becoming the highest and best version of yourself, it's going to help your real estate business, everybody. It's all tied together. In fact, you're probably going to excel far greater in real estate by working on yourself than just watching real estate videos. We got 1,000 real estate videos, plenty to learn. We're still actively practicing in real estate, very much so. Got a new rental property coming up. I just got off a call about that. As a matter of fact, I'm happy to be acquiring rental properties. Part of my goals from the money standpoint is real estate related, very much. But today we're talking about personal development. We're talking about empathy. And, empathy is different than sympathy. Sympathy is feeling bad for somebody, right? You see somebody, first off, we shouldn't feel bad for anybody. My daughter has cerebral palsy. She's not walking yet. We're in a lot of intensive therapy and things like that to hopefully get her walking on her own. And I used to feel bad for her, feel bad for myself, feel bad for anything, right? And just why me? It's this victim mentality. And then it goes back to the self realization stuff that I talk about frequently. It's like, well, okay, once you realize what your self is, once you realize you are a spiritual being having a human experience, you're a soul, you don't have a soul. And my daughter, she's a soul, she's this spiritual being who consciously she came into this physical world just like you did. She's a part of source, she's a part of God, she's a part of higher intelligence, just like you and me and all of us. There's no more sympathy because she's walking a path and her path is absolutely perfect to it's going to make positive change for the overall collective consciousness. At the end of the day, we're all connected, and there is a higher purpose to this entire thing, and you're very much a part of it, and so am I. So yeah, there's no more sympathy as far as, oh my gosh, I feel bad for my little daughter, and how can we live this way? No, she's going to change lives because she's the perfect vessel to do that in her perfect form. She will be able to reach people in her life that other people who do not have the same ailment that she has would be able to reach, right? It all works beautifully and perfectly like a big wheel here, everybody. That's sympathy, is feeling bad for somebody. Empathy is essentially feeling like walking a mile in someone's shoes, right? And empathy, when you look at somebody else, you put yourself in their position, you put yourself in their shoes. That's empathy and empathizing with somebody. So a lot of times in our current society, I mean, we are driven apart. And if you follow the news and the media, it is just a very polarizing world we live in. We're conditioned, we're programmed, we're raised to feel that we are different than everybody else. Oh, this group over here, the Republicans over there are different than me because I'm this way, or the Democrats over here, they're different than me because I'm this way, or Asian people, I'm white, these black people over here, we're all different, we're all segregated. We got actually, I mean, that's what we're raised to believe, right? Is that we're all separate. Once you have that self-realization and these breakthroughs that we're having, that's what I think Jesus talked about as being born again, right? Once you're born again and you realize what you really are and what everybody is, then you can actually begin to empathize with people. And a high level of empathy, real empathy, is not looking at somebody outside of you and saying, oh, let me walk a mile in their shoes. I guess it is a little bit, but the real empathy, and this is the next level empathy, is when you can look at someone else and see yourself in them like a mirror. So once you really realize that you are a true spiritual being having a human experience, you're a soul, and then everybody else out there, they're all the same exact thing as you. It's like, whoa, there is no more segregation. There is no more separation. Once you get to the point where you start to look at somebody else, it could be your worst enemy. Because why are they your worst enemy? Is because you've been probably conditioned to think, oh, they're on the other team, right? They're different than you, and you have this deep rooted belief that somebody's different than you right? So, you look at them you when you begin to see yourself in them, you look at this person who you were taught and you believe is your worst enemy, but you look at their actions and you're like, I do the same thing. I do the same stuff they do, right? Maybe they're participating in some type of action that's striving, their version of striving towards something you do not agree with, the actions they're taking, but the reason behind they're taking those actions you can relate to. You see yourself. I strive too. I strive in other areas, right? When you can see other people as the spiritual beings having human experiences just like you can begin to see the motive behind their behavior, their emotions, right? Their energy that they're putting behind the work that they're doing, that again, you may not agree with, but you can start to understand maybe why they're doing it. And then you can actually see, you know what? I do the same stuff in different versions. I do the same stuff. And then when you actually can see yourself in everyone else, and you can truly, it opens the door to insane collaboration. You are no longer, concerned with this surface level identity, fake identity stuff, right? When someone's identifying with a certain group or certain political party, a certain view, a certain mission that they're on, right? That's all surface level, right? And you may not agree with the surface level, and that's perfectly fine. And there's people who may not agree with certain things and certain missions that you're working on the surface. But when you can begin to see yourself in the heart and in the soul of everybody else, it opens up to massive collaboration, because it's like, y'all work with anybody. Now you're working from vibes, right? You're like, hey, this person I just met might have pink hair and piercings all over their face, and it doesn't matter. That's just the external surface level shell. But when you can actually see them, it's like, wow, I got the most brilliant idea from having a conversation with this person. When you begin to see yourself and everyone else, you're wide open to have a conversation with anybody. You're not closed off anymore. You're not, there's no judgment, right? It's like, hey, you're looking at these people, they're souls, you're a soul, they're God, they're connected directly to God, so are you. Hey, let's mingle. It's just not, you drop the guard, you drop these preconceived notions that we're conditioned and programmed to have. That's that real empathy, is when you see yourself in everybody else. Powerful stuff, because it makes you open now. You are no longer closed off. You're going to hear messages. Your reticular activating system in your brain, which picks up messages and that are in alignment with your mission and with your beliefs, and with your higher self. You're going to start hearing these messages. It's going to come from all forms. It's going to come from any physical packaging that you can imagine, right? And that's just going to lead to more growth. And ultimately, everybody, that's what we talk about here, is your life's purpose, your soul's purpose is to grow. It's to elevate. It's to raise your vibration. It's to raise your consciousness. Because when you raise your own vibration and your own consciousness, it raises the consciousness of the whole world. So let's practice that. So let's start looking at anything and seeing ourselves in it. Again, not necessarily the packaging, the physical, or the surface value, the surface level stuff. We're talking the underlying motive, the underlying vibe of everybody else. You may not look like this other person, but you can start to see yourself and see their intangibles and see yourself having the same qualities on an intangible spiritual level as everybody else. It doesn't matter if it's a different race or a different gender, because ultimately our soul, there's no genders, guys. There's not. It is the purest form of creation, and God energy it's not a man or a woman and this and that. No, we're talking way higher than that. In fact, our brain, it's very tough to even conceive what this God is that we are connected to, but we can feel it. It's just tough to describe, but you can feel it. You have this conversation and you communicate with it constantly because that is what you are, right? That is what you are. Listen to your conscience. And you know darn well when you're open and you are approaching somebody else from this place of true empathy, of, wow, we're the same, it feels so much better, doesn't it? Instead of this resistance of, you're different than me, and how are we going to get through this? It's like we are way on the surface right now. We need to get below the surface. It's going to keep you open. It's going to lead to more personal growth, and that is the purpose of our life here, of this little blink of an eye life, right? Is to continue to learn and to continue to grow. Our time is finite. Let's not spend our time and invest our time on the surface level. Let's remove that. Let's start to see ourselves in everybody else, in everything else. And it is going to it's going to make our growth much more rapid, much more fast, right? You're a spiritual being having a human experience. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Hey, give me a like, give me a follow. Let me know in the comments kind of where you're at on your own journey, because at the end of the day, we're all connected. The more you grow, the more I grow, and vice versa. We're in this thing together. Hope you're all ready for a great day. It's early here in Columbus. I got cooking early here today, everybody. I'm on those daily habits, those daily disciplines. I was doing burpees at 4:30 in the morning. Feel great. I feel great, and I'm grateful for each and every single one of you. Let's make it a great day, guys.